In this episode, I'm going to look at the Thrunite T1, which is a compact magnetic base, waterproof, drop-proof, rechargeable, high-intensity LED flashlight. Let's check this one out. I received a package addressed to 12-volt vids. I wonder what's in this one. Packing material. And we have this tiny little Thrunite flashlight. This is the T1 Magnetic flashlight. Now, Thrunite is a company I really like. I've been using their head-mounted flashlight for, I don't know, about a year now, I guess. And it's probably one of the best ones that I've ever used. And I would not expect anything less from them with this one. So here's the tiny T1. The base is magnetic, so that way you can stick it someplace you'll be able to find it in a power failure. It features a USB charge port, so it's going to have a built-in charger. You just plug it into a standard micro USB port to charge it up. Battery goes inside here, and it's going to. This one's going to use an 1100 milliamp hour. This is an 18350, so this uses a smaller battery, but 1100 milliamp hours. I'm going to pop this into my charger so that we can get a full charge on this battery, and then when we do the nighttime test, I'll also do a runtime test on high to see how long it runs for. But we're going to charge the battery up now, and then I'm going to continue this test into the evening, and we will test it and see how it performs. As you can see, it's kind of nice. Just show off some of the features that it's got here. When you press the button, there's just a single button on it. When you press the button, it comes back on at the light level that it was last turned on. But if you press and hold, the flashlight enters firefly mode until you press it again. As I cycle the button, okay, power on, power off. Double click, goes into ultra bright. Triple click, it's a strobe mode. When the light is on, if you press and hold, you'll notice that the light goes through its different steps. So if you press and hold, it'll go dim all the way down to the minimum and all the way up to the maximum and then down to the minimum. So that's how you can set your brightness on it. And then just release it at the level you want it to be on for your normal on and off cycle. So when you turn it on, it'll come back on to that level. If you want it on full brightness, just double tap it, it'll go on to full brightness. We're going to take this out a little bit later on, and once it gets dark, and play around with it. This thing is actually, it's pretty darn bright. I was just looking at this thing, and I mean, it is bright. It's blinding bright. It's so bright. I'd say it's got your basic functions. Strobe is what cyclists would use. You could stick this onto your bicycle with the magnet if you've got something metal on it, and it would stick to the back of your bike or to the front, and have every epileptic in town having a seizure. Let's charge the battery up, and then once it gets dark, we're going to take it out. We'll go through what comes with the package. So it comes with a USB charge, of course, so you can charge it up. It comes with a clip, a belt clip. So you put the belt clip on. Belt clip clips on just like that. Like that. Also comes with a lanyard. So we'll put the lanyard on it. Problem is when you look at these things like this, like I just did, I shined the light into my eyes. I can't see a bloody thing now. I got a big green blotch in my field of vision from looking at this thing. And that brings to another thing, safety with LED lights. They are so intense that they can damage your eyes if you look at them, so it's not recommended to stare into an LED light because they are pretty bright. Anything that leaves an after image on your eyes is probably not good. Okay, there's the lanyard on it. Comes with a lanyard with a strap that you can tighten up so that you don't lose it. It's a great little pocket light, very small, very powerful. Now, we're going to charge this thing up and we'll take it out after dark. Well, we can look at the technical specs of it now. Right now, it's a tail cap magnetic, rechargeable, of course. It's got a magnet in the tail cap. It uses the latest Cree XHP50 LED, which makes up to 1500 lumens and has a throw distance of 102 meters. And orange peel reflector. Just looking for the specs here for output power. So turbo is 1500 lumens, and then it drops. It'll do that for 3 minutes, and then it drops down to 408. And that will do 3 minutes of turbo, and then it'll drop down to a lower power level and will run for 80 minutes. And on infinity high, the output power is 685 lumens, and it'll run for 80 minutes. And in the low mode, where you press it all the way down to the lowest setting, 15 lumens, it'll run for 36 hours. There's a firefly mode, which is 1 lumen, and it'll run constantly for 14 days. Strobe mode, strobe's at 700 lumens, it'll run for about 2 hours. Okay, distance will throw 102 meters. Intensity 2600 CDs maximum. Its impact resistance is 1.5 meters, and it's waterproof to 2 meters. So we'll take this and we'll throw it in the hot tub, I'm sure. And there you go. There's a power indicator in the light, in the button here. You see, blue indicates that you've got 21 to 100% of your battery life remaining. If it's red, you've got between 11 and 20% of your power, and if it's flashing red, you're down to 10% or lower, and that just shows the battery voltage. And once the power gets down, when it starts flashing red, the light will probably start blinking as well, like most of the other ones I've got will do. And there's also a lock mode, so you can lock it, and to do that you press and hold the side switch for 3 seconds to unlock it. When the flashlight is off, press and hold the switch for 1 second to enter firefly mode, and to exit firefly mode, press and hold the side switch for 3 seconds to lock out, or to enter that lockout mode. So that's good, because you know, if you want to keep kids from playing with something like this, you press and hold for 3 seconds, it goes into firefly mode, and then you press and hold for 3 seconds, and then it goes into lockout mode. So now the button won't do anything. You see, I press the button, nothing happens. To get out of that mode, and it'll just blink red. When you're in lockout mode, you'll see, you press the button, it'll just flash red to indicate, I don't know how well it's coming over on camera, but it does light up red. There, you see it from that angle. That's to indicate that it is in lockout mode. To cancel the lockout mode, press and hold for 3 seconds. And then it goes back into firefly mode. And now, of course, we can turn the light on, press and hold when it's on, and it'll start getting dimmer and then brighter up to maximum brightness. Okay, press and hold, back up to full brightness, power off, press and hold, and then it goes into firefly mode, and then off, and back to full brightness. Just did it again, just blinded myself again. I'll never learn. Okay. Now I can't read this because I've got a spot in the middle of my vision again. You know the feeling when someone fired a camera flash in your eyes and you just see the afterglow of it. Okay. Charge mode or change modes. Can't even read that because my vision's screwed up right now from looking at that or flashing that light in my eyes. When the light's on, long press the switch to circle through infinity high to infinity low. Yes, we know that. Shortcut to firefly. When the light is off, press and hold for 1 second. Double click to go into turbo mode from any mode, and triple click to get strobe. We already figured that out. Memory function will return to the last used mode except for Firefly, turbo, and strobe. 2 years free replacement warranty, 30-day refund by Amazon, lifetime limited maintenance. And oh, here's the warning. Thrunite flashlights are high-intensity lighting devices capable of causing eye damage and other harm, so please avoid shining light directly into anyone's eyes. I think I just learned that. Please keep the flashlight away from children. And it says, to protect the battery, driver circuit, LED, we don't recommend you run it at maximum or turbo for more than 10 minutes. But if you enter into turbo mode, it is going to shut down and go down to a dimmer mode after 3 minutes anyway. So they just don't recommend reactivating that turbo mode constantly because it is going to build up heat in the driver. But you know what? I've never had to use turbo mode, and I use the headlight all the time at work because it's just nice and bright. And you know, it's the best flashlight that I've owned. And every time someone sees it, they ask me about it, and I send them to the website. And a few people have bought it. A few people couldn't believe how much it cost because, you know, it's expensive, but you're getting a good quality product. And I'm endorsing these ones because I use the Thrunite lights myself. I've got several of them here on my workbench, and I've got several, and I use them constantly. When you see me working on something and I'm using a flashlight, I'm using a Thrunite flashlight because they're the best ones I've used. Let's charge the battery up on this thing, and then I'll take it out in the dark, and we'll see how it performs. Okay, I'm up in the dark park. My headlights are still on in my car at the moment, but they will shut off momentarily. But we're going to point the camera down into a very dark area of this park, and we're going to compare 3 flashlights. We're going to compare the new T1, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, the T1 with a TN12 and a TC. This is the other one I'm working with here now. And a TC20. So here's the TC20. That's the light that the TC20 throws, and it's not in turbo mode. It's just in normal bright mode. So if I click it twice, the TC20, as you can remember that one, how bright that one was. And now we'll look at the TH12 or TH12, TN12. So here's the TN12. I said it was TN12, yeah. So this is the little TN12 that I'm using now. This little guy here. That's that one. We can see what type of beam it puts out. And now we'll look at the new T1, the little small Thrunite T1. So that's what's coming up next in normal mode. And if I kick it up to full brightness, there's full brightness. As you can see, it's a flood, so it's not a spotlight like some of the other ones. Like the TN12 is a spot. As you can see, it's more of a targeted beam. This is a flood. It's got good throw, good wide beam. We'll look at the TC20, which is the big brute by comparison. So there's the TC20. As you can see, performance-wise, it looks almost as good as the TC20. Now, the TC20 is not in turbo mode right now, though, so it's in high, but not turbo. Here's the T1 in high and turbo. And here's the TC20 and in turbo mode, which is even brighter. So by comparison, this light is in between, but it is a flood. As you can see, got a nice broad beam. So if I point it down into the park down here, it's going to light up quite well by comparison. It's got a very wide beam. If we look at the variable light output, if I press and hold the button, of course, it'll dim right down. So if you don't need a lot of light, it's fully variable. and then down, and it blinks when it's down at that lowest level. When I press and hold the button when it blinks, if I release it at that point, I'm on high power. Press and hold, goes down, press and hold, goes up. And double click, and it's in turbo mode. Now 2 clicks from off brings it right up into turbo. 3 clicks from any mode puts it into strobe. And then press and hold, of course, puts it in firefly mode. In firefly mode it is very, very dim. Just the lowest level of light, but also the battery is going to last an awful long time. Now, the light is by no means a thrower. It's not designed to be a thrower like these ones are. It's designed to be a general purpose flashlight that's going to light up the area. It's a flood as opposed to a torch or a thrower, like this one's a thrower. And the same with my TC20. TC20 is also a thrower, as you can see. It's going to throw the beam much further, but it's not nearly as wide a beam. That gives you an idea of the usefulness of this light. One other thing I wanted to show you before I drop it in the water and throw it on the ground is the construction of the unit itself. The construction is solid aluminum with rubber gaskets to keep moisture out. There's a rubber gasket there. Right? It's got a brass or copper spring in the bottom there for the contact on the battery, but it's one solid piece. The bottom cap does not remove. And we look at the business section. Here's the LED with the orange peel reflector, all sealed in. And here's the electronics. We get a close-up of the driver. So there's our USB charge port. It's got a rubber cap over it. It will seal it up. As long as that's closed, water's not going to get into it. So make sure that you have that tight. That way it's watertight. And inside here you've got the driver and the charge controller chip and all the protection chips. So surface mounted technology. Looks to be well made. Push button is on this side for the power. You can see the power button, the linkage. Again, it's a rubber button. And of course the battery. Thrunite have their own brand of batteries. They are good. I've been using them in my other Thrunite flashlights, and they've all been really well performing batteries. As you can see, the light is blue when the battery is good, turns to red once the battery is discharged. Now we'll take this unit and we're going to drop it in the water, let it sit underwater for a while, and then we'll drop it on the ground. Now for the water test. We're going to drop it in the water and let it sit there for a while and see what happens. It's been in the water now for about 10 minutes, so we'll just take it out. We'll give it the drop test. Okay, drop test. And of course it's most useful with its magnetic base if you need to stick it on your car or something. You're working on your car, you can stick it on your car if you need to change a tire, for example, in the dark. Anything metal, it will stick to. Okay, now that we've dropped it and dunked it It's been sitting in water for about 10 minutes. Let's take a look and see whether any water penetrated any of the seals. As you can see, no water has penetrated the seals. The circuit board is dry. There's no indication of any moisture penetration whatsoever. That's a quick look at the Thrunite T1 with magnetic base flashlight, rechargeable flashlight, a subcompact rechargeable flashlight for your emergency lighting needs. One of the things I showed here was a great place for a light like this is to stick it to someplace where you'll always know where it is, like to the side of your refrigerator. You stick it there with the magnet, you always know where it is, so when the power goes out, there's no problem finding it. It's stuck right where you left it. Like the old magnetic flashlights of years gone by, which had the magnets in the base and you stuck it to your fridge. Exactly the same idea. You can stick that there. It's compact. It's out of the way until you need it. It's a lithium-ion battery, so it's going to last for a long, long time between recharges. Thanks for watching. Links to purchase this is in the description. Bye for now.